Your current daily life is a summation of your past daily thoughts and habits. My friends, each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes, if you will just experience this with us every day, find your practice trades, initiate those. When you start getting good with the practice trades and see success, then move into the fractional trading. In fact, the training today for everyone who subscribes at the website, chartingwealth.com, you'll get one email each market day. That list is never spammed, never shared, and you will get the training that we have for you on exactly how to use it, how to do it, how that is fractional trading, how to use small dollar amounts to then be able to have a little bit of real money, not much, $100 or less. $100 is a good amount to fractionally trade, whether it's X number of shares or a small percentage of something like the $500 plus S&P 500. So you have a fractional share, $100 if your brokerage allows that. And what you're able to do then is you're able to keep up with how accurate you are. Did you earn 4%? Did you earn 2%? Did you lose 1.5%? And again, you lose 2% of $100, that's $2. You lose 20%, it's $20. You don't start practicing, you don't go into real money trading until you literally have proved to yourself that you know what you're doing. And we're not a stock calling service, we're an education firm. We want you to practice trade, learn how to do this for free. And then once you get good at it, then you can make up your own mind at the right time to actually start using real money. God bless, my friends. Let's jump into these charts. Everything is down for the day. This is another one of those days where everything is heading down. S&P down 0.77% for the day. We can see that we have broken the trend line on the 2-day chart. We've moved below the weekly trend line on both the 2-day, but not the half-day. I almost said both. We haven't on the half-day yet. Heading toward it, sitting right there on it. Below it on, again, this is the first day of the latest 2-day candle. Weekly is still holding above. Now, as we talked about yesterday, the high last week, 463.67, 465.16 this week. So we are higher, but again, we are paying close attention as the 2-day pushes below. One thing I did, my friends, just to experiment, I'm always into experimenting, I noticed that, again, we were, particularly in the summertime trading zone, seeing a lot of low volume here. So I went ahead and reduced here on our volume measurement. This is our moving average on volume. I reduced it from 20, as it was set previously, down to 10. I moved the 20 on the 2-day chart to 15, and I left the 20 on the half-day chart. So I just wanted to experiment around and see it. What it basically did is, of course, it moved this black line lower, hopefully giving us maybe better, quicker signals to be able to follow. I want to see how accurate that is. As I look at the change over here, it would have, of course, given us a signal to jump in. This was successful so far. And again, as I look back at what has occurred and when we've seen the signals, it still gives us the proper signals here. So I don't see anything, again, firing off false signals necessarily. It would have been possible to capture a bit of that before things rotated back around. Makes me, again, a little bit leery here going back looking at what happened in April, but there was just enough to capture 1 ATR on the 2-day chart there. So we will keep an eye on things, see how that continues to work. But I'm just, again, experimenting around. Don't mind doing that because, again, we prove things to ourselves by using our minds, realizing the market is always changing. Things are always happening. And we need to be able to roll with those punches and use the latest information and techniques that work. The number one thing here is to do what? Successfully predict whether the market's going up or down. That's pretty much it. A binary decision. Yes, it can go sideways, but primarily is the market going up or down. As long as we can successfully forecast that, we will be successful. Now, As we look at the S&P, we will be paying attention as we go into tomorrow on where this volume goes and on whether or not this candle goes red. Don't think it's going to on the S&P. It could. Now, different thing on the NASDAQ 100. We have two down candles. We have clearly pushed through. This is on the 2-day chart. Lots of volume with that spinning top. And again, first day of the latest 2-day candle, almost up to average. We're probably going to push through that on Friday. So again, lots of push down on the NASDAQ. We can see the half day clearly below that weekly trend line. A doji sitting right there. Look at all the volume in the top with the interim high and then the rollover going down. So again, hasn't pushed through the weekly trend line. Tomorrow could be an up day and could make us change our minds, but we will pay attention and maybe pull this trade and perhaps even go short. That would mean looking at something like PSQ, Papa Sierra Quebec. That is the single shares short of the NASDAQ 100. Single shares short? What am I saying? It is the one-time short. In other words, percent for percent. If the the NASDAQ is going down 1%, PSQ would be going up 1%. So it is the one-time short, as opposed to one of those leverage shorts like, 3X or whatever. So anyway, it's a possibility. We'll pay attention to that as we move along in time. Let's look at what's going on with TLT, 20-year U.S. government bonds, down for the day 0.76%. Again, we have a green up candle. We have not crossed the weekly trend line on the 2-day or the half-day. 2-day is green. This is a Heikin-Ashi candlestick. Of course, we can see down in the morning, a little further down in the afternoon. We're not in a trade here because we didn't have any volume to initiate a trade up or down. So we will continue to watch, wait, and see what the future has for us, and at some point, hopefully, find a trade that will be successful. Now, let's look at gold. Gold pulling back 0.64%. 2-day has pushed through what has been our ceiling before, but this is a ceiling for the weekly chart. And as we look on the weekly chart, we can see that indeed the wick has pushed through, but the candle is sitting right there on it. Are we going to roll over and head down? Well, the half-day chart is, but it's just the half-day chart. It could pop right over in the morning. We will pay close attention, see if this ceiling will continue to hold in gold or if it's going to push up through it. So watch that for tomorrow. What's going on with HODL? It is down for the day 1.61%. This is the Bitcoin ETF. We can see on the half-day chart where things started leveling out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then moving down on Thursday. 1.61%. We can see on the 2-day where things have topped right there for the time being. And of course, with the adjustment of the volume moving average, we now have, some volume here that we can pay attention to. We see the interim low with average volume. We see average volume on this green turnaround, which again, we'll pay attention to what's going on Friday. We might initiate an up move in Bitcoin. Again, we're going to pay close attention to that as we jump into Friday. So again, you might consider initiating a Bitcoin up trade. Keep an eye on Bitcoin tomorrow before the market close and see if you want to initiate a potential practice trade in Bitcoin. That is where we are, my friends. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. By the way, Patreon members, I've already selected. We have 19 weekly vertical crossovers. If I recall correctly, we have 9 up, 10 down. I'll be sending those out to you with links to the 3-wave trade and the Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies videos. Remember, all of the materials that I talk about each and every week that we provide to you are always uploaded first at the Patreon page. So in case you do not get the email, somehow you miss it, goes into your spam box, whatever, it's always there at the Patreon page. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World headquarters.